So you want to buy a home. That is so exciting. It is so fun to look at houses. It is so fun to go on Pinterest and just dream about what we're going to do with our houses. And of course, we all get online and look at every new listing available in our area. But if you have not gotten pre-approved for a home loan, you are putting the cart before the horse when it comes to buying a home. You may be dreaming about that new home, that new yard, that new school district for your kids. You might even be thinking no more landlords. All of the perks of home ownership, not to mention that a homeowner has a net worth that's 40 times higher than that of the average renter. All of those are amazing reasons that you want to buy a home. But the first thing you need to do is know actually how much home you can afford, because the worst mistake every home buyer could make is to see a property, fall in love with it, start planning for it, and then realize that they can't buy it. That's devastating, and then it sets the tone for your whole home search. No home's going to live up to that home, and you're going to be disappointed. So the first step you need to do is talk to a lender. In today's housing market, there is very little inventory, and there's still quite a bit of competition. So that puts the listing agent in the driver's seat, and no listing agent worth their salt is going to take an offer from somebody who does not have their golden ticket to purchasing a home, and that is a pre-qualification letter. Most real estate agents wouldn't even let their seller look at an offer if a pre-qualification letter was not attached. So you may be telling me, hey Kathleen, I actually already did this. I just went online, put my information into an online lender, and they gave me a pre-qualification letter. But here's the thing, every real estate agent knows that those online lenders are not doing a thorough review of your documents, and that is critically important to knowing that you are actually qualified. So an online lender, if you send one of those pre-approval letters, a lot of listing agents don't like them, and they tell you you're going to need to switch to a local lender. Why is that? Because a local lender is going to do an in-depth review of your documents, actually have a real conversation with you and understand the ins and outs of your particular situation. Did you just move here? Are you transferring? All of these questions go into underwriting decisions, and they're hurdles that we can overcome on the front end if we know them. But if we don't know things until you've got a home under contract, it really jeopardizes your earnest money that you're putting down on that home, and that is a terrible position to be in. Here is the good news. It only takes a few minutes to get fully pre-qualified with a real lender like me. In fact, what I like to do is have a brief conversation with you, maybe 5, 10, 15 minutes, where we talk about your situation, what your goals are, so I can understand it. Then we'll do a complete loan application, and we look at 3 things in depth: your credit, your income, and your assets. So when it comes to your credit, the higher your credit score, the better. But here's the great news. If your credit score is on the low side, we have some tools that we can give you to show you exactly what steps you need to take to improve your credit score and about how much time it's going to take. So the sooner we know what your credit score is, the better. All the more reason to start the pre-qualification process sooner than you think. When it comes to your income, we want to see what type of employment you have. If you're self-employed, we're going to want to see 2 years of your tax returns to see what kind of income you've made there. If you work for a company, we'll look at your W-2s. Now, we take your income and then we subtract all of your recurring debts. So things like your credit cards, student loans. We do not take into account things like utilities or rent. Those things we assume you're going to have in your new home, and we're not going to look to the past for those things. So we take your income, we minus your debts, and we get something that is called your debt to income ratio. Now on my next video, I'm going to get into this a little bit so you can have a pretty good idea of what your budget can be. So you're going to stay tuned for that next week. As for assets, we look at how much cash you have available to put not only as a down payment on a home, but also for closing costs. So a good rule of thumb for closing costs is to save an extra 2 to 3% of the purchase price for the closing costs. So if you're looking at a $300,000 home, you're going to want to have between $6,000 and maybe $9,000. Really, probably not that much, but it's a good rule of thumb. Now here's a little secret. there are ways to get around some of these down payments. There are other options for you if you don't have a lot of cash saved. So you're going to want to stay tuned for the next couple videos because I'm going to get into some of the secret ways that you can get some cash. So we've touched on a pre-qualification letter, but one of the great benefits that I have at my company is we have a pre-approval process. And that is when we can take all of your documents, just some simple documents, and your full loan application, and we could submit it to a live underwriter. That underwriter is going to review your file as if you had a contract in mind, a house in mind, and they're going to approve you based on the information that we give them. Now, when we get an approval back from them through this process and you go look at homes, you don't just have a pre-qualification letter. You have a fully approved loan pending a property. So this is a huge ace in the hole. If you put a contract on a house with this approval, then you are the same as cash, and you can even confidently eliminate any financing contingency because you know you're going to obtain financing. So are you ready to get serious about your home search? Reach out to me on my website, and I would love to help you take the first steps to getting your dream home.